Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Randall.
an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via. I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder in Red Onion State Prison in the state of Virginia in the USA. This is my podcast, Red Onion Rant. I hope you enjoy listening to me today. This is Randall Via. I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder and armed robbery in King Mountain Correctional Center in Oakwood, Virginia. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I have a toll-free number if you would like to call, leave a message, encouragement, ask a question, whatever it may be. The number is 1-888-524-1932. That's in the United States. Anyone outside of the U.S., simply put a plus in front of the 1, and it's the exact same number. I hope to hear from you. Today's episode, I'm going to talk about my fiancée, soon-to-be wife, Nicole. The crazy thing is, I'm going to introduce her. As a matter of fact, she's actually recorded some stuff, and I'm going to let that play. And, I'm going to let her tell how we met and, so on and so forth. I'll leave that up to her. I know this might come as a surprise that I'm in a relationship, that I'm engaged, and I'm in the process of getting married. Hopefully sometime in the second week of September. It was a point where I was never going to get into another relationship again after Jennifer. Jennifer kind of broke me. It made me just not want to be in a relationship until I got out of prison. And I was firm about that. I've had, in between that time and between Jennifer and Nick, I had several women reach out to me that wanted relationships. One of them was a former model. One of them was a doctor. I had some beautiful women. I was, nope, not doing it, just not going to happen. And there was just something different about Nick. The things that she went through when she was going through, we just, she really needed me in that moment, and we started talking, and and I did everything I could to encourage her, to inspire her, and to help her, and I accepted her. I accepted her darkness. I accepted her pain, and there was no judgment on my part. And she did the exact same for me, because at that time I had just got kicked off of Red Onion and transferred to Wallen's Ridge. And, which was one of the darker periods in my life, in the last several years. It was, Wallen's Ridge was extremely tough for me to deal with. And just because, not really so much the prison, but the people I was in the pod with. It was just so difficult. And she was there for me. She helped me. And it was just that mutual back and forth, and we fell in love. It kind of caught me by surprise, but I couldn't be more thankful, more grateful for her. She is the answer to my prayers. She's everything and more that I wanted in a woman, and I got it in spades. I'm gonna let y'all listen to her side of how we met and everything, and I hope y'all enjoy listening to her. Here she is.
Yeah, my real name's Nicole. My stage name was and I've used quite a lot of few names over in between, but my stage name for Brazzers was and I got into the sex industry when I was 16. And I'd done porn for Brazzers since I was 20. And how I met Randy. So I saw his documentary a few years ago and I watched it. I found it interesting and I just thought it was interesting. I didn't think anything more of it. And if anything, it sounds bad, but I thought it was a bit encouraging because his life was worse than mine. But I felt drawn to him by watching it, and he stood out to me in that documentary. But at that time, a few years ago, the first time I watched it, I didn't think much else of it. There was no need to contact him. I've never contacted someone in that situation. I've never, I've had the partners that I've been with in the past, they've been in prison, but they wasn't in prison when, without knowing them. I related to the life, but I felt no need to contact him at that particular time. When I first watched it, I was in a relationship, and I just felt no need to reach out to him or anything, and I felt kind of like drawn to him, related to him, but there was no need to do anything else with it. And a few years went on, and I was having a particularly bad day, and I really wanted to quit doing what I was doing. I was having a particularly bad day. I had basically pissed off the main director, and he had switched my scenes up just to basically humiliate me to the best that he could. You don't get paid until you do if you're contracted, you don't get paid until you finish the contract. And I was tossing in my head at the time whether to leave or just to leave or to finish the scenes that I was contracted to do. But there was a lot of things going on behind the scenes. And it was just really hard. I felt like there was no one that cared about me. There was no one that loved me. There was no one that, even now, recalling it, it's a bit hard. It's kind of hard. Thinking back to that day, the last day it wasn't the last day I went there, but it was the last day I made the decision not to go there again. Just having to have, it is humiliating, but having to have sex with every guy in the room, being told what to do, being told how to do it. And I know people probably watch that scene. I've Googled it afterwards. I know people that they get a kick out of it. But for me, it's humiliating just being gangbanged. But before even that scene happens, to have sex with everyone, it just kind of it was a rough day. and I just wanted to go home, and then I thought that even with going home, it's not going to feel better. And I left Brazzers and I went on the train, and I was crying, which is something that's really unreal for me because I'm used to just putting my emotions at bay. But I couldn't that day. And then when I got on the train, I just thought to myself, let me just put on my earphones and let me listen to something just to take my mind off my own mind. There was someone on YouTube that I used to listen to called 23 in 1. And he had just posted a new video about Red Onion, and he showed a clip of Randy, and I thought I remembered that from years ago. And someone had left a comment to say that he had someone on the section has said that he's got a podcast now. On the way home, I watched a documentary, and when I got back, I listened to, I can't even remember what I listened to, but I listened to one of his podcasts, and I wrote him an email, and I just felt so, even now, like even recording it, like, yeah, it's crazy. I just it's not something that I've never like emailed someone. I don't know, but I just emailed him. I just said like basically what happened in the day. And for me at that point, it wasn't anything intentional. It was just like, it was selfish of me. I just wanted to get everything off of my chest, and that's what I done. And I didn't know if he would email me back. And then at that point, it didn't even really matter if he did or he didn't. Like, it was just something that I just felt like I had to, like, because I just felt on the brink. I felt like I just didn't even know that day. I was going home and I was just thinking, I don't want to live anymore. I don't feel like anyone respects me, anyone loves me, anyone even cares about me. I don't think that any difference I make in this world is just for being basically a whore. You know, that's what, like, I didn't feel any sense of, like, of myself. Yeah, it's hard even just, like, talking about it, to be honest with you. But, because it brings me back. But so the way I reached out to Randy originally was just to get stuff off of my chest, to be honest with you, and just to say that, because when I watched the documentary years ago, it was just that I thought, okay, carry on. It's not too bad, you know, carry on. People have it worse than you. That was my initial, like, response to it. Because at least I'm not in his circumstances. And I guess the first time I reached him out again, it was probably the same thing. But it was more in a, like, thank you, kind of like, oh my God, you can go on. And it didn't even matter. And I've said that to him. It didn't even matter if I didn't think that, oh my God, that he's like, I want to be with him or whatever. It wasn't like that at all. In the slightest, it was just more of a breath. And he did respond. And that was weird as well, because I didn't really know, I didn't know what to think of it at that time. Yeah, and I thought, well, you know what, we'll take it. I thought to myself at that point, I was like, well, anything that he's willing to tell me, I'll take it on board. And that was my thought at that moment. And we kept communicating. And because I had already told him probably the worst of me, there was no reason to like kind of dismiss anything else. I was just like open with him from the beginning. And the more that he didn't judge me, the more I didn't judge him. And I think that's how we got to the stage that we were, because we were just like honest with each other. And it's so weird. It is weird. And when I say it out loud, it is like weird to other people as well. And it's just like, but I understand it. He understands me. And I've never had that before. I've never had that connection with someone before. I've never been so drawn. Even like now, there's a picture of him like down there on my wall. Like I've just never like felt so like drawn to another human being. I feel like even when I do stupid things, and if he does stupid things, like I feel like we can speak. I've never had like that amount of trust in someone, and especially with someone that you've never met. It's crazy. It's insane to me. I can't even wrap my own head around it. But I do feel like he's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I do. I feel like a connection with him. And even when stuff like when it's so weird, it's crazy. If I say it out loud, it is crazy. But there's so many things. Like even when I like stuff's going on with him and I can't get that communication with him, I feel weird in the morning. I feel weird. I never believed in like soul ties and stuff like that. But I do with him because I feel like I feel like I'm supposed to be with him. And he's got so much, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, what he's done is messed up, right? But if everyone was to say everything that they've done on a white sheet, it would all be messed up. And there's things that people can justify in their heads, and there's things that people that can't. But that's up to the individual, right? But he's got so much good in him. He's like, I love him. I want to be with him. And am I wrong for thinking like that? Like, I don't know. But I don't know. That's just the way I feel. That's to answer your question. Yeah.
I find it crazy that someone like me can find someone like her in this environment, in prison. You know, I just had a video visit with her this morning. And, you know, we were talking about her friend Kitty, you know, and some of the things she's dealing with. And I'm sitting here just looking at her, and I'm just thanking God in my head for her, that, you know, I don't have to deal with the drama that a lot of people in the world have to deal with in their relationships. You know, me and Nick, we haven't had a single argument. You know, we have some viewpoints, you know, that we disagree on. Specifically over Trump. I'm pro-Trump. She is not. But, You know, this, like, we haven't had a single argument. We haven't had a single fight. You know, we talk. You know, she's allowed to have her opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion. And there's no animosity if, you know, there's a digression. You know, there's a different viewpoint. We just simply, we talk and we discuss it, and, like, we don't get in our feelings over it. And, like, I can't believe how blessed I am. I can't believe how lucky I am.
How do you manage a relationship? How do you think about the future, given that you're in different countries and that Randy's serving a sentence of life?
Oh, I have a criminal record myself, so it will be tricky. We've spoken about it. It wouldn't be possible for me to be in the USA, and it wouldn't be possible for him to be in the UK. But there are other countries that we can go to and be in, which is possible. And it's hard because you're living off just kind of faith. You're living against the odds, basically. Because in all lines of it shouldn't work. It couldn't work, but it can. But I know I know his strength, and I kind of know mine as well. So it's just like, if we want it to work, it can work. But yeah, it's going to be difficult in terms of communication and stuff like that. It's hard. Like, I speak to him almost daily, but it's still 20 minutes a day, and it's not. I'm a needy person. I know that, and if I'm connected with someone, I need to speak to them daily. I need that. I need them. So not having that, yeah, it's hard, but there's nothing that he can do about it. So I'm not gonna put that on him, because that's gonna make him feel bad. Because what can he do about that? So I just have to be strong enough to manage that. But I mean, if I can be with him, I would absolutely want to. But it's just timing and patience, and it builds character as well. It does. It builds character because it makes you double think, because you get guys walking up to you, like talking on you and stuff like that, and you think, oh, I've got this option, I've got that option, but that's not what you want. You want that person that you feel truly connected with, like truly connected with. And my fear is that he would come back and he would see other options and stuff, and he would go with them, and then it feels like I've dedicated that amount of time, and he doesn't want to be with me. But that's just my insecurities, and to be honest with you, I don't think he thinks that at all, but it's just the natural insecurities that you have because you've not had that connection with someone in terms of physically, in terms of being with them. But the way my mind works is mental. I have to, before anything else, I have to feel it in my head. So yeah, it's difficult, it's strange, but he makes it worth it because I feel I feel like it's meant. I feel drawn to him. like literally just drawn to him. So it's just that's that. But yeah, no, it is difficult. It is. Even if, I mean, 20 minutes a day with someone, even if like he calls back and it's 40 minutes, and for someone like me, yeah, I kind of need that constant communication. I need that. And I know he does the best that he can. But by him doing that shows me that he cares and shows me that he's putting in the effort in his side. And that's all he can do at the moment. So, you know, that's what it is. And either I accept it or I don't. And I accept it. So it's not for everyone. You know, a lot of people, like, they tell me I'm crazy, but yeah, I'm not, because I think Randy's amazing. I think he's so amazing. I think he's so strong, and that's the best parts of him. You know, so yeah, that is the best parts of him. You know, I told him the other day, I was just like, anyone that goes through hell and comes back swinging, you know, I think he's so amazing. I think he's got so much qualities about him. And, yeah, I think he's so honest, brutally honest, good and bad. But that's what makes him just perfection in my eyes. And it might be a twisted way of thinking of it, but yeah, because everyone in this world has done shit, right? And people just don't say it. They don't say the bad stuff. They leave that out. And he hasn't. He owns himself. And I tell him, well, I love the way you just own yourself. I love the way you are who you are. Even if you're wrong, you're still who you are. And that's what people don't do. Yeah, and just coming from my background, it's just like I know how people are. I know how people can perceive themselves as a certain way and not be that certain way behind closed doors. I know how people can smile at your parents and just like rape you behind closed doors. I know it. I've gone through that. So it's just like, people can be who they can put on a persona, or they can be who they are. And it's harder being who you actually are. And he's done it. And I think it's amazing. I think it's so strong. And I'm just amazed by him. I'm fascinated by him. And then getting to know him, just his humour, his character, just who he is. Like when he's vulnerable, like when he opens up a bit, and it's just like, I love it. And yeah, so to answer your question, we can make it. If he's out of prison, we can make it work. And that's okay. We'll pack up and we'll go wherever he needs to go.